Shalom Aleichem Rabotai. It is Erev Shabbos, the 13th day of the Omer. This is Rabbi Kovacs, and we are continuing together in the Mishnah Yomi with the 9th parak of Kilayim. Yesterday, we brought some cases of items that are exempt from Kilayim because they're not typically worn, and today we're going to talk about some people who, because of the way they use Kilayim, are allowed to use it. So Mishnah Hey, the 5th Mishnah, reads, Mochrei Ksut, sellers of garments. Mochrin kedarkan, they can sell them normally. Uvilvod, with the condition, the stipulation, shelo yitkavnu bahama mipnei hama, that in the summer they don't have kavana, that the shatnez items, these kilayim items, are blocking the sunlight and preventing a sunburn. Or in the winter, that these items are blocking the rain and protecting them from the rain. So what exactly are they doing? It seems that either they are trying on the garments for their customers, in which case it's mutter even though they're wearing the item, because they're not getting a hana at the time they're trying it on. They get the hana when the buyer of the merchandise actually goes ahead and buys the suit or the hat. That's when they get the hana, but merely trying it on to display it might be mutter, because there's no hana at that time. Another option is they're carrying them, they're transporting them from place to place, or they're walking around the shuk, so maybe they're wearing multiple items, or they have them sort of draped over the shoulders or the arms, and it's not really a normal way to wear it, even though they are wearing it. Now, this seems to be a stira, because before we said you could not have any hana, even if you were merely putting on shatnez to avoid paying the tax on this garment. Remember we talked about taxes the other day, that this was sort of not a legal democratic tax, but an unjust tax on Kilayim, or on Jews perhaps. And he was wearing Kilayim for the hana. So at that time he was getting hana from the fact of wearing Kilayim. So here, if he's simply transporting Kilayim and he's going to be selling it, so he gets the hana later when he sells it, not when he's transporting it. So in this way, the sellers are mutter to do it, but the Mishnah concludes, tznuyim mafshilim b'makel. But the tsanua garment sellers would spread them over a stick. Again, this could apply to both understandings. Either they made some sort of a mannequin, a stick figure mannequin, and this Mishnah could be the origin of the mannequin used to display merchandise, or they had a long stick over the shoulder and they draped the Kilayim garments on that for transportation. It's interesting, the word sanua usually means modest, and here it seems like they're more they're more machmor. Yeah. So one way to understand this is there are times when, if you have a chumrah, or you have a stringency you took upon yourself, there are times when it's not actually appropriate to show that in front of others. And the Gemara mentions this in a few places, this concept that if you are machmir, you don't show that off. So it would look like gaiva, it would look like you're drawing attention to yourself, it would be surprising to other people. So perhaps you might have thought that since it's mutter, one shouldn't show off the fact that they're being machmir and avoiding having any of this kilayim on them. But even so, even snua people, even just modest people who certainly aren't trying to show off, certainly aren't known as machmir people, they could go about putting them over a stick and avoid direct contact. So that wasn't anything surprising or shocking. And even if you're tsnua and you're not trying to draw attention to yourself at all, you could be machmir. So apparently there are people who are mekel, and some other sellers were machmir, and both were considered normal. It wasn't a problem. Mishnah Vav, Tofrei Ksut, sewers or tailors of garments, Tofrin Kedarkan, they can sew Kilayim normally, which means they're going to have some draped over their knees, or perhaps there's some draped over their shoulder. Again, they're not wearing it, but it's on their body in some sense while they're working with it. Like we said before, as long as they're not intending for it to block the sun or the heat, or intending it to block the rain from them. Again, tznuyim tovrim ba'aretz, and people who are very tznua, and again, that might mean they weren't trying to show off that they're machmir, but it was accepted that some people were machmir, and they'd be careful to sew on the ground. and not have it in contact with their body. Shkoyach Rabosai, good Shabbos.